Today I wanted to talk about recovery. What's up, everybody? It's Tyren Johnson, 10-year professional basketball player in France. In case you didn't know who I am, currently playing for a team named Adia Blois. Today I wanted to talk about recovery. Recovery is something that I always took for granted. I never really paid much attention to it. I always thought, look, I'll be forever young and I wouldn't have to ever worry about any of these things. But as I've gotten older, as I've grown as a basketball player, I realized that that's something I should have took way more serious. And you know, your coaches in college and your coaches in your professional career, they'll tell you, take care of your body, eat the right things, do everything right to make sure that you're healthy. But I didn't understand that what makes great players are the guys that go hard and be able to recover so that they can be back at 100% faster than most other players. And that's kind of like the difference between good and bad players. Some players are more talented than other players, but they're fatigued. Their muscles are sore. They don't feel like doing it. They have it's harder for them to get back to 100%, while the guy that works hard, take care of his body, is able to come back faster, stronger, and more efficiently every time because he's putting in the extra work, the extra hours that it takes to make sure that their body is back at 100% after they've put in all the work. So I'm going to give you 5 things that I think are essential to recovering. Number 1 is sleep. Sleep is something that I'm terrible with because I tend to get mostly inspired at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like when I'm most inspired. That's when everyone is asleep, no one's calling me, no one's contacting me, and I just lock in on my passions and I get to reading, I get to looking at things that inspire me. And that's when I'm at my best, I'm at my peak at 2 o'clock in the morning. But it's time to go to sleep because I have practice at 10 in the morning every day. So what I've realized is that when I get 8 hours of sleep, my entire day is different. I wake up with more energy. I respond differently to people. My whole day is just better. I'm just a total different person when I get the adequate amount of sleep that I need in a day. And for me, that power mark is right at 8 hours. For some people it's 7, some people it's 8, some people it's 9. For me, when I sleep more than 8 hours, I'm draggy. When I sleep less than 8 hours, I'm grumpy. So 8 hours is that sweet spot for me. One of the toughest thing about sleep is that we were never really taught how to go to sleep. We were taught to sleep. But for me, for the longest, I just passed out. I slept whenever I passed out. So that wasn't healthy, man, because sometimes you go to sleep at 10, sometimes 12, sometimes 2, and your body's all over the place. So some tips to go to sleep consistently is to unplug everything. About 30 minutes before you go to bed, unplug everything. No video games, no phones, no YouTube, no TV, no nothing. Like just unplug everything, calm down, relax. Maybe talk to your partner or, read a book or something, or just relax and get up in the bed and just lay there. That's work for me. I call it shut down my nervous system. I just lay there. And then eventually I end up going to sleep. Another thing is to be consistent. Try to do the same thing each night. At the same time, each night, try to do the same thing. It's going to start creating some consistency with your body. To get better sleep, for the most part, I've read and I researched and they say that it's better whenever you sleep in dark environments. When you sleep in dark environments where everything is just totally dark, you get some of the best sleep. This is more like a common sense one. Please go to the bathroom before you get into bed. You don't want to get into bed and then you got to get up and go to the bathroom. So that's some things I do before I go to sleep. Is just do those things, man. I promise you it's going to help you a whole lot. Sleep is very important. Second thing is nutrition. Nutrition. Listen, I don't know how I survived eating the way I ate. I rarely drink water. I rarely ate vegetables. I rarely ate fruits. I would just eat meat, rice, and pasta. And that would get me through the day. I used to call it eating to survive. But now I realize, man, whenever I put the right foods in my body, that's like all I need to do. Is just put the right foods in my body, and I have so much energy because I've switched my diet to eating, less meat and more vegetables, more fruits, and eat more consistently. Eating 3 times a day, but eating real food instead of eating fake food. I was a big McDonald's guy. I never liked McDonald's. I just ate it because I didn't know how to cook. Big time Burger King, KFC, mostly at fast food places where I just wanted to get food to get the energy to put in my body to go to practice. But now, moving in with my girlfriend and everything, she helps me prepare meals, and I'm just a way better player because of my food. I have more energy, I'm more alert, I respond better to my teammates. It's making me a better person overall. So nutrition is like a big thing, man. When it comes down to nutrition, you don't have to be a vegetarian, you don't have to be a vegan. You just have to eat a lot of real foods. If you want a hamburger, go and buy the ground beef and make it yourself. If you want to get some chicken, go ahead to the butcher, get you some real chicken yourself. Do everything yourself, man. But make sure you add some greens, some vegetables, and some fruits up in there. And get some nuts for your snacks and things like that, man. Just eat healthy. I promise you it's going to help your game. Third thing is stretching. That's a debatable one. Some people fight against stretching. Some people fight for stretching. Me, I stretch normally after practice or after the game. I don't stretch before practice because it don't give me that pop. Whenever I do a dynamic warm up, I get that pop before practice. It's almost like a rubber band. What I was taught was that you slowly want to loosen up the muscles. Whenever you just stretch cold muscles, if you stretch a cold rubber band, it's gonna pop, and that's how you get little injuries. And I didn't want to do that, but whenever you gradually warm up the muscles, you get power from that rubber band. So I look at my muscles as rubber bands. I want to have the highest amount of power I can possibly get. So I do a dynamic warm up before practice, and then I do a static stretching after practice or after the games. Because after the games, I just want to stretch those muscles out, let them relax, when I go to sleep, let the body do its work, let my food do its work, and everything comes back like it's supposed to be. Number 4 is ice. Ice is another one that's highly debatable. In high school, I never iced. In college, I iced a little bit because we had so much, and sometimes it was just a thing to do. As a pro, most places I played didn't even have ice machines. So now I'm icing. I'm icing after practice. I ice like 2 times a week, and I just get in a cold tub where I just immerse myself in cold water for about 10 minutes. Sometimes I go 5 minutes cold, 5-minute hot shower, 5 minutes cold, 5-minute hot shower. It's a little contrast. Sometimes I do that, but for the most part, I just sit 10 minutes in the cold water after one of the tough practices or after the game, because all of the swelling, I just wanted to get out my body, so I just sit down in the cold water. I never really ice my knees because I focus on strengthening the muscles around my knees so that I don't have knee issues. So I focus on strengthening my ankles. I do ankle exercises. I do Achilles exercises, hip exercises, VMO muscle exercises. Yeah, I do all of those things to make sure that my knees have the muscles around them to support my knees so that they don't ache me. I really don't ever ice my knees. So that's kind of interesting. I've been experimenting with that, and it's been kind of good for me. But if I do ice my knees, it's whenever I'm sitting in the cold tub. And most of the time I sit in the cold tub just to ice my Achilles because I'm having some problems with my Achilles right now. But that's really the only time I ice. But you can never ice too much. So icing is something that especially if you got an injury, go ahead and ice that thing whenever it's swole. Put some ice on it, let that swelling come down, get back on the court. And number 5 is compression. This is a new one for me. I've never really knew anything about compression until this year. I knew about it, but I just never really got into it because the only thing I knew about compression was Normatec. I wasn't about to pay $2,000, $2,500 for Normatec, but I went on the internet and I found different options. I found this thing called Relax, which basically do the same thing. It just doesn't have the name Normatec. So I wasn't about to pay an extra $1,500 for a brand name that I care nothing about. Relax was about $700, and I got it. I got it this season, and it's been amazing for me. It's like a personal massager. You know, I can't afford to have a massage guy with me at all times. And we have a team, Kine, but we got 10 guys on the team, and he has to work with everybody. So one guy is just not enough. So I'm not about to sit around, and when I get in there, it's going to be five minutes of 10 minutes where you can't really do much. So I bought my own compression, and it's been amazing. I prefer compressing over icing, because with compression, it's like your muscles I just feel like your muscles are constantly working, and they're getting all that fluid out there. That's why some guys are working out after basketball games, or some guys are working out the next day after a game. Instead of sitting down, they're working to keep their muscles going so that it doesn't stiffen up on them. And compression just keeps you loose, man. It just keeps me feeling like my legs are brand new. So I use a combination of the Air Relax, I use a foam roller, and I use the gun. It's like the percussive therapy. That's a new one for me too. It's just one of those things that it vibrates on you. It's another form of compression. You know, the vibration, the fast motion. It just helps get you going. I normally use a combination of the foam roller and the gun before practice. I would use the Air Relax late at night or right before the game. I use the Air Relax before every game at about maybe 3 hours before the game. So those are 5 tips, man. 5 things that has helped me get better as a player, because, you know, recovering, it helped me get back to where I'm at in the summer. In the summer, I'm really, really, really at the top of my game. Normally when I come to Europe, I kind of lose that a little bit because you're not working out the same. But this year, I'm actually feeling like I felt all summer. Most of it is because of the way I'm taking care of my body. I'll leave links below to get as many of those items I got. Most of those items are very affordable. You know, the gun, Air Relax. I got massage ball for my feet. I got the foam roller, and I utilize the team trainer as much as I can. And, you know, basic self-help things that I do with myself in the weight room and things like that. So if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, tell everybody about it. You know, let's get our bodies back at 100% so we can make them pay on the court as much as possible. All right. Once again, thank you for watching. We out.